Just ahead on CTV News, our new county executive is sworn in on Juneteenth.
No matter your race, your creed, your color, your origin, where you came from, what color you are, know that I am a county executive for you too.
Plus, we meet the county's new police chief. And one council member trying to ease getting pulled over by the police. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for June 20th. I'm Katira Jones.
And I'm Marquette Shepard. Thanks for joining us. Well, Prince Georgians now have a familiar face as their new county executive. Aisha Braveboy was sworn into office on Juneteenth, signaling an historic moment in her career in public service.
CTV's Noel James was at the ceremony yesterday and has more.
I state your name.
Aisha Braveboy.
Today, in this packed auditorium,
Do solemnly swear.
Aisha Braveboy becomes the new Prince George's County Executive.
That I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland.
Braveboy becomes the 10th county executive and only the second woman to be elected to the office. She's no stranger to politics. From 2007 to 2015, she served as a state delegate representing the 25th district. And in 2018, she became the county's state's attorney. Her roots are planted deep in the county. A high school graduate, later going to the University of Maryland College Park and getting her law degree from the Howard University. And looking to the future, Braveboy hopes to
elevate Prince George's County and give everyone an opportunity to elevate in this county. That begins by unifying all of us. That means that our personal interests have to be subordinate to the interests of the people.
Now, leaders and public figures alike are eager to work with Braveboy, including one of her strongest cheerleaders.
And I got to tell you, from the work that I have already seen, you should understand why I am so excited about the future in Prince George's County. Because she is someone who has shown that she doesn't just have a vision for the future, but she's someone who's shown that she knows how to deliver upon that future as well.
I'm excited for this future. I'm excited for our partnership. And again, Queen, I'm just proud of you. And congratulations.
What I can tell you is that Aisha Braveboy sets the standard. Her intellect, her courage, her commitment to justice, and her commitment to service stands out among the rest.
Now, Braveboy has already hit the ground running, naming Sean Joseph as the interim superintendent for the county's public school systems, and the new police chief, George Nader, replacing Malik Aziz, who will be headed to Phoenix for that same position. So lots of changes right here in Prince George's County, so keep it CTV News for all the coverage. From College Park, I'm Noel James for CTV News.
Now, we just want to let you guys know at home that at this time, it has not been confirmed if Malik Aziz has been picked for the police chief position in Phoenix.
The selection is expected to be announced in July. And more about the county's newest police chief. George Nader brings 35 years of law enforcement experience to the position. Nader comes over from the Metro Transit Police Department of Homeland Security, serving as assistant chief since 2016. And as a Prince George's County native, Nader is excited to be home.
I have such a passion for this job and this profession and the men and women that come out here and do the work to keep the community safe. You know, and that's where my devotion is, to the community, to the men and women that are out here doing the job. I really appreciate and enjoy working with them. So I look forward to the opportunity to do everything that I can to make the Prince George's County the best county, which I already believe it is. So that makes it easy. When you're asked to come back to do a job and serve a community that you love, that's a pretty easy decision to make.
And the ceremony included guests from the Prince George's County Council, 2 area law enforcement officers, and leadership. Meanwhile, heavy wind and rain swept through the region yesterday, causing thousands of power outages in Prince George's County alone. This was the site of the storm in College Park yesterday, and this morning, around 21,000 Marylanders were without electricity. Utility companies are currently working to restore downed wires and trees. Experts advise keeping refrigerators and freezers closed as much as possible, and they also suggest using ice-packed coolers if necessary to preserve perishable food and medications.
Prince George's police are investigating a fatal shooting in Laurel last night. The shooting happened outside of a business located at the 12,000 block of Laurel Bowie Road. Officers arrived on the scene at 9 p.m. and found 36-year-old Michael Thompson suffering from gunshot wounds. He died later at a hospital. A second man was also shot. He is currently in the hospital in critical but stable condition. Detectives are working to determine a suspect and motive in this case.
One council member is proposing a new resolution to ease tensions during traffic stops. At-large council member Calvin Hawkins is pushing for a driver handbook that explains what to expect and how to act when pulled over by police. With more than 33,000 traffic stops last year, the goal is safer, clearer communication for both drivers and officers.
It's an opportunity to revisit what's going on during a normal police stop. Our police officers work hard each and every day. Just want young people in particular to understand what they should do when they're stopped to avoid it escalating and ensuring that everyone goes home from a traffic stop.
Overworked, underpaid, and understaffed. That is how officials are describing the Mount Rainier Police Department, and the city manager might be the one to blame. The city's police officers issued a formal vote of no confidence on Wednesday in Mount Rainier's city manager, Karush Kamali. Officials have described Kamali as a dictator and someone who lacks transparency and whose actions are making residents unsafe. Kamali has been on the job since 2021, but Mount Rainier police officers are calling for the city manager to step down.
Governor Wes Moore announced pardons related to cannabis convictions. The governor issued more than 6,900 pardons for cannabis possession convictions yesterday. This is an expansion to Moore's executive order last June that pardoned 175,000 cannabis-related convictions. Officials say all cannabis possession offenses will be removed from public view by January 31st of 2026. And as ICE raids continue to spark outrage, Governor Wes Moore criticizes President Donald Trump's handling of immigration. Moore condemned the president's immigration policies, saying, quote, he's not committed to actually solving the problem. This comment comes as ICE raids and the potential of being deported is causing fear amongst undocumented people. The raids are also disrupting the farming, hospitality, and restaurant industries that rely on undocumented workers.
And the things that he's doing by these executive actions are not just unwise, many of them are illegal. So we need Congress to act. We have a completely broken immigration system inside this country, and it's something that I take very personally seriously as a person who was raised by an immigrant single mom. We need Congress to do their job. We need to pass comprehensive immigration reform, and we need to do it now.
Maryland's strong connection to the federal government boosts the state economy by $150 billion each year. A recent report by Maryland's comptroller reveals the state ranks third in the nation in federal contract spending per capita, following Washington, D.C. and Virginia. The state also has the third highest number of federal workers, with an estimated 229,000 residents who work for the Fed.
It's the kind of countdown no one wants to hear. The Social Security Trust Fund are now projected to run dry a year sooner than expected by 2034. That's according to a new report from the program's Board of Trustees. If Congress doesn't act, only 81% of scheduled benefits would be payable at that point. The Old Age and Survivors Insurance Fund is still projected to run dry in 2033. Disability insurance remains more stable for now. The growing fund gap is being blamed on slower wage growth, aging demographics, and higher benefits. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Katara Jones.
And I'm Marquette Shepard. Still to come.
Hey everyone, it's time to make the most of these longer days and warmer nights. You know I got you covered on What's the Move. It's coming up next, right after this.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
For the new fiscal year, WSSC Water has unanimously voted for a new commission chair and vice chair. The new chair is Mark Smith, who previously served as vice chair and was appointed as commissioner representing Prince George's since October of 2022. Smith has 2 decades of experience working with the American Red Cross. The new vice chair is Jonathan Powell. He is currently a U.S. Navy project manager, and he was appointed commissioner representing Montgomery County since September of 2024. And California filed a lawsuit last week against the Trump administration to defend its tougher vehicle emission standards. While Maryland has adopted the California rules, Attorney General Anthony Brown has not joined the suit. Brown has filed or signed on to 24 lawsuits by states challenging the Trump administration, but not this one. Environmental groups are confused by Maryland's hesitation when 10 states quickly joined the suit. But officials say the Attorney General's office is monitoring the lawsuit and maintaining its priority of reducing greenhouse gas emissions.
Over 2,000 universities around the world were just ranked by U.S. News and World Report, and 2 colleges in Maryland found themselves in the top 100. Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore was ranked 14th in the world, and the University of Maryland landed at number 72. Schools were evaluated on academic research and reputation across 51 subject areas, with the top 10 dominated by schools in the U.S. and the United Kingdom. Officials say the rankings aim to identify universities with worldwide recognition and cross-border academic excellence. A local church is preparing for a big health fair geared for the whole family. Judah Temple AME Church in Bowie is hosting its community health fair this Saturday, June 21st. The theme for this year is called Building a Healthier Community. The event will include fitness, activities, a cooking demonstration, and health-related resources from nonprofit groups and county government agencies. The church is also partnering with Luminous Health, and they will conduct a blood drive.
Well, we had an expo last year that was resources, just resources in the community. But because there are so many situations and things going on, diabetes, concerns that people have, blood pressure, and other types of things that people face every day, that we just looked around and we just were kind of cognizant about the things happening. And we said, you know, we need to try to bring something to the community that would help them.
The organization Prostate Health Education Network will also be at the health fair talking about prostate cancer prevention and screenings. The church's fair will run from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m.
Well, today kicks off the official start to summer, and with concerts, outdoor events, and the season's hottest festivals in full swing, there's no shortage of ways to enjoy the warmer weather.
Our Brittany Aaliyah is here with What's the Move to help you make the most of this sunny season.
Finally, I get to say it. Happy summer. Honestly, with all the weather we've been experiencing, I'm so happy we get a little taste of much better weather this weekend. Let's get into tomorrow. A double day is taking over Nats Park. Now, have you heard of it? Oh, it's just one of the biggest day parties in the city. Starting tomorrow at 4:30 p.m., we're celebrating Caribbean Month as part of the Nats Summer Series, and it features live music, performances, and DJ sets that gets the whole stadium jumping. Listen, if you know, you know. Trust me. And Solstice Saturday is here. If you love museums, you're absolutely going to love this. So listen up. Every year for Solstice Saturday, all of the Smithsonian museums on the National Mall will have extended hours. And we're talking 9, 10, 11, even midnight. There's a lot to see and a lot to do all day. But what's really cool is you get to experience the museums after dark with dance parties, storytelling, and even stargazing. I mean, honestly, ditching bedtime and kicking it in the museum after hours is kind of cool to me. I mean, I'm just saying. Switching gears, Rhythm on the River is underway at the National Harbor. It's their live music series at Flight Deck. It's completely free. The only way I can really sum it up is live music, sunset skies, and waterfront vibes. So this I highly recommend, like highly. Wrapping things up, the Big 3 basketball tournament is going down at CFG Bank Arena on Sunday. Now, the producer, actor, and music legend, we all know him, Ice Cube, launched the Big 3. It's a 3-on-3 half-court basketball league that features some well-known players to even play the game. 4 games on Sunday, including the DMV Trilogy versus the Boston Ball Hogs. Tip-off starts at 2 p.m. And if you like basketball and you want to catch a fun but intense game, don't miss it on Sunday. With summer starting today, that means we're officially outside. Make sure you join me here again next week on What's the Move. Have a great weekend and stay hydrated, folks.
Still to come on CTV News, schools out for summer.
That's right. After the break, we speak to a PGCPS instructor on the importance of keeping your students sharp year-round. Back in a moment.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
Well, summer is here, and even though most kids are concerned about how much time they can spend with their friends or how many hours of video games they can now play, educators say it's important for students to keep their minds sharp during the summer.
And joining us today to talk about the County School District's Summer Learning Spark is instructor Adrienne Leak. Ms. Leak, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here.
So first, can you talk a little bit about the Summer Learning Spark program?
Absolutely. So we have a variety of summer programs and learning opportunities for students in grades pre-K through 5 all the way up through 12th grade. Some of those opportunities include a summer digital learning book series that comes out July 1st. That's geared for our pre-K through 5th grade students. It has a lot of activities to sharpen their skills around reading, writing, math, speaking, and listening. We also have a summer plan for our middle school students. That summer plan also outlines some opportunities for reading and math and science to keep our kids sharp over the summer. We have PSAT resources as well for our middle school students. all students in Prince George's County have access to Pear Deck Tutoring, which is a live online tutoring service. So if they needed some support from objectives that were covered in the previous year, or if they're looking to kind of get ahead for the upcoming school year, that's something that they can take advantage of. And our high school students also have SAT resources posted, as well as some summer leadership opportunities and ways that they can continue to become college and or career ready.
So it sounds like you have programs that are tailored to all the different grade levels. Can you talk about the importance of that? Because especially with the older kids, they may think, I'm too old to go to summer camp.
Yeah, absolutely. So especially for our older students, we have a lot of things that are geared towards leadership skills. And so that's going to take you beyond what you do inside of the school. So as they're getting their first job or they're getting their first internship, they're able to really apply some of that training there as well.
And can you talk a little bit of why it's so important to have these programs for kids at all age levels?
Absolutely. Nobody wants to experience the summer slide. Learning loss does happen over the summer, so we want to keep our students reading. We want to keep our students engaged with their mathematics. We want to keep them engaged with science. So that way when they come back for the upcoming school year, they are prepared, they are on grade level, and some will even be advanced.
And you know, so many kids are still behind from the pandemic and doing virtual school. Can you talk about helping kids catch up with that learning loss that happened from a couple years back?
Absolutely. So some of our programs and online experiences are geared towards intervention. So really assessing where the students are. And then once that assessment occurs online through some of the programs and platforms that students have available for them, they're able to then remediate from there. So they're able to practice those skills that they were falling behind on from the previous year. And then that's data that parents can use to continue to supplement instruction and to have those ongoing conversations with teachers in the upcoming school year.
And with this program, when kids are enrolled, is it really important for parents to make sure they're sitting down and looking over their work and talking to them about what's going on?
Yeah, it's very important for parents to be familiar with the type of platform that their kid is utilizing. Some of the platforms actually will give the kids some type of digital badge or some type of progress monitoring check, so parents are able to then use that as kind of a baseline for whether their students are engaged with the learning materials and resources. Some of the platforms that may not do that, then parents would definitely need to kind of, peek over the kid's shoulder and see if they're actually on track and doing what they're supposed to do to make the most of it.
And I'd love to brag on you for just a second. So you are a former Teacher of the Year.
Yes.
And so give us some secrets to your success in keeping these kids engaged. Because I find around August, when everything shuts down, people go on vacation, a lot of camps are closed, that's when I have the hardest time as a parent keeping my son active.
So I think the biggest tip is I do a lot of the things with my kids as far as reading with them. So getting a book that we all can read and enjoy and talk about as a family is something that you guys can definitely take advantage of. I also think I let the kids teach me something. All of our kids know something. They know how to do something. You'd be surprised if you say, you know what, you have 15 minutes to teach mom something.
And what do you want these students to leave with once they've finished this summer program?
I want them to leave with the skills that really make them feel like they are ready for the upcoming school year, to make them feel confident, to make them feel like learning is fun, to really bring back that spark, to really ignite that in our students.
And great name too, Learning Spark.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the great information. Well, for more information about Summer Learning Spark, visit the website at pgcps.org/summer programs.
And don't move, Simon Buggs is here with our Friday Sports page.
That's right. What's the latest, Simon?
Hey guys, don't move, because coming right up, the Washington Nationals host an event to honor some of history's greatest baseball players. That story and more in a bit. Stay tuned.
The power of the knock is food. Your stew's delicious. I'm 88 years old, and I was with the Ice Capades when I was young. Now, being as old as I am, I lose balance. I don't like ending up this way, but what am I going to do? I got Meals on Wheels for the 5 years that I've been here. It's nice to know they come, and if you feel like talking, you can talk to them. I could talk for forever. They're totally a blessing.
All right, sports fans, y'all know what time it is. Let's get straight to it. We begin with a great story from the world of baseball. Take a look. Walter Buck Leonard, Cool Papa Bell, Satchel Paige, and Josh Gibson. These were some of the best Negro League players the game has ever seen. And the Washington Nationals decided to honor them and so many others by recently hosting a Negro Leagues night. Baseball fans got to learn about the rich history of the Negro Leagues through a panel that features some of the best baseball historians. Among the group was Sean Gibson, the great-grandson of Josh Gibson. And Gibson gave the audience some insight as to who his great-grandfather was.
Josh Gibson was one of the greatest baseball players of all time. And I use the word greatest of all time. I don't say one of the greatest black baseball players. I say one of the greatest baseball players of all time. Josh played, of course, we know he played in the Negro Leagues when, of course, African Americans should not play in the major leagues. So Josh played for two teams in the city of Pittsburgh, the Homestead Grays and the Pittsburgh Crawfords. But also, the history that we have here in D.C. is that half the Homestead Grays games were played in Washington, D.C. as the Washington Homestead Grays. The only difference was they had the same uniform like I have on right now, but when they had it in Washington, D.C., it had a W on the side of their sleeve that stood for the Washington Homestead Grays.
Now, the Negro League style of play was very different than the major leagues, and Dr. Damian Thomas spoke on how it was so different and the impact it's had on other countries.
In the Negro Leagues, you saw much more small ball, bunting, base running, hit and runs. You saw athletic play at the shortstop position, at the center field position. And so the Negro League players would often go play in Latin America, particularly in Cuba. And then Cuba really sort of takes baseball and teaches it all across Latin America. And they were teaching the Negro League style of play. So even now, when we think about the rise of the Afro-Latino players, the Latin players, and their style of play is heavily influenced by the Negro Leagues.
This night was a great opportunity to learn about such an interesting period of time in sports history. I caught up with an audience member afterwards, and he loved being a part of this event.
It's a beautiful experience to learn about, my people and the history of Negro League baseball. I think it's important to talk about the history and also to archive the history too. So to being in this space is really important for young black boys to hear about themselves so they can dream themselves into baseball and be great baseball players like Josh Gibson and all of them. So it's beautiful to be here for sure.
Always great to learn about African American history. Meantime, the Baltimore Ravens added another piece to help them get to the Super Bowl, signing cornerback Jair Alexander to a one-year deal worth up to $6 million. The Louisville product played with the Green Bay Packers for 7 seasons before coming to Baltimore. Here's head coach John Harbaugh on the signing of the two-time Pro Bowler.
He's excited to be here. We're excited to have him. He had been kind of behind the scenes in the works a little bit, and I know he wanted to be here, and we wanted him here. So for it to work out the way it did, made Lamar happy. I think it made everybody happy. It's just an opportunity to become a better team in that sense.
And fun fact, quarterback Lamar Jackson played with Alexander at Louisville from 2015 to 2017. And that wraps up your Friday sports page. Have a great weekend, y'all. See you next week.
Thanks, Simon. Let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Today is the first day of summer, and tomorrow will feel like it is, but tonight it's going to be mostly cloudy with some calm winds in the evening. And grab your sunscreen and swimsuits. It's going to be a nice and sunny weekend. Tomorrow will be 91 degrees. Sunday will hit a high of 96 and a low of 77. So it will kick off the weekend. And Monday is going to be even hotter when it reaches high of 98.
And for our community calendar, tomorrow, Councilmember Ingrid Watson is hosting her For the Health of It Community Health Fair with Children's National Hospital. This free event will highlight the importance of pediatric health and access to care in the county. This event runs from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Franklin Park Community Center. For more information, contact 301-952-3094.
And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again Monday. Good night.